What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on Lucid. What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in Lucid, what the data points are saying, and what's been coming out from the company. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So based on Friday, it did go down 0.58%, a lot of volatility, but despite that though, a lot of good volume. So 29.05 million shares being traded, 27 is the average. So that's been more of the common case over the last little bit. So it does insinuate that there's a lot of eyes are on Lucid, especially more so this week, because there is a lot of big things that might be coming down the pipeline. So I'll touch on that in a second. But as far as data points, Wednesday and Thursday, those are days that you need to watch for. So PPI is on Wednesday and then CPI is on Thursday. Outside of that, there's a lot of Fed speakers throughout the week. So that typically does cause a lot of volatility. So there's going to be that. As far as earnings on Friday before the market does open, bank earnings. So bank earnings definitely could cause massive ripples across the broader market if negative, and especially more so their future guidance. So there's JP Morgan, there's Citi, BlackRock, and Wells Fargo. So a lot of big names that could, like I said, cause a lot of volatility. But specific to Lucid, I feel like there is also a couple of things that will be coming out this week. One of which is this. So the good old Sapphire. So when it came down to it, Lucid's been doing a lot of PR. So this came out on the 4th just saying prepared for launch, and this came out today actually just saying customer deliveries of the Lucid Air Sapphire have begun. So in reality, the fact that they've actually commenced deliveries does mean that their official launch is going to be most likely this week. So in reality, I do see it being announced on Monday, potentially for the later part of the week. So that's going to be a very good PR event. But over and above that though, when it comes down to Q3 numbers, this time last year, so on October the 12th, that is when they unveiled their production and delivery numbers for Q3. So I do feel that is going to be most likely a good indication, similar to this year, when they might actually be unveiling it. So sometime this week, Lucid could come out with their production and delivery numbers. I know there are some rumors essentially that the production numbers are a little bit lower, as is the delivery numbers, but as it stands, that's just a rumor up until Lucid does unveil their numbers. So I do feel that if it is very positive and they are still on track for their year-end numbers, then once again, you could see a nice bump up in the stock price. But other than that though, there was news that did come out on October the 5th, just them introducing the Air Pure, so the rear wheel drive at 77.4. So pretty good stuff as far as that. Some people are already starting to compare it to Tesla Model S, the long range, as far as price, the range and stuff like that. So I do feel that instantly people comparing it to Tesla once again does show that they see it as competition. That's just my own interpretation of financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. So Sapphire launch is going to be fairly good. This also did come out. So Peter did another interview and ultimately did allude to that the gravity is right around the corner. Similar to the Sapphire, they announced during the last earnings that there's going to be a launch party for November. So I think that's going to be very, very good because as I've mentioned in the past, Sapphire is very good. It's a halo car, but as far as massive demand, that goes to the gravity. So the gravity unveiling is going to be a very positive thing in my opinion. Plus, on a side note, this recently did come out. So it says the PIF Saudi electricity launch electric vehicle infrastructure company. So it looks like they are forming a company between the PIF and the SEC. So the Saudi electric company, not the SEC governing body. But generally speaking, I do feel that is fairly good. And it looks like the PIF is going to have a 75% stake and then the SEC around a 25% stake. But ultimately, this is good for Lucid bigger picture. And Sultan kind of puts in a different perspective on how this could really incentivize local demand and provide tax relief to companies. And obviously, Lucid is just starting. So they just had their ceremony, their opening ceremony last week or a week and a half ago, whenever that was. So I feel like Lucid is very well positioned for success in Saudi Arabia. So let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think that's a good thing, bad thing? What's your viewpoint on all of that? As far as some data points to really watch for this upcoming week, I'm going to start off with options. So based on Friday, $1.1 million in calls being purchased versus 2.94 million in puts. So based on this, people are anticipating for Lucid to go down. And most likely this was because as well, the technicals are breaking down a little bit. So for this upcoming week, so the expiry date of October the 13th for options, based on the open interest for calls, so this shows all the strike prices, expiry dates, it is anticipated to be roughly between the $5.50 and $6 range. So kind of tight as far as that, but nonetheless still fairly positive. For those individuals buying puts, it is anticipated to be sub around $4.50 or between the $4.50 and $5 range. So once again, kind of different extremes, but overall, like I said, though, there's a lot of things coming out this week that could cause it a little bit more oriented towards the upside. But over and above that, though, these are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market over $100,000, and some fairly big ones, especially after hours. It looks like 9.04 million. It looks like 1.8 million. So a lot of big money was really getting into Lucid. I don't know if they were anticipating something or not. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the dark pool. So there was no transactions, looks like, since around October the 2nd. And I'm not really sure about that. But when it comes down to the dark pool, it is very much linked to shorting. So I'll give you an overview of that and everything that you need to know. So as it stands, short score is currently 83.87. Utilization is 94.84. On Friday, shorts did return 3.73 million shares. 24.47% of the free float is being shorted, and 215.2 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is around 11.39, and just through here, Interactive Broker short availability, it does indicate that around 1.2 million shares is available to be shorted. So overall, though, what is the technical saying? With it currently at $5.13, it is between this S1 and the pivot. So $5.10 is a very strong support, and $5.67 is a very strong resistance. So I do feel that, in my opinion, there is a lot more upside than down. But depending on, let's say Lucid comes out with their numbers and the rumors are true, then that might prompt a little bit more of a sell-off, similar to what happened with Rivian and Tesla, just short term. In both cases, the dip got bought up fairly fast, but you never know. It is right on this support level right now. So if it does break below that, then as you can see, $4.76 is going to be the next strong support after that. And that might actually prompt a new 52-week and all-time low. So Lucid definitely does have a lot of good upside, but in the short term, there's a lot of negatives that could be really causing kind of pain on the broader market, especially with that recent announcement of the war, or with Israel and stuff like that. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Do you think that it is going to go up, down, sideways? What is your viewpoint on all of that? As far as in the past, I've indicated what options I generally do. With the amount of volatility, I probably will be sitting this week out, because it could go any direction, all over the place, especially with, like I said, the whole announcement of the war and just maybe some bad data coming out. I do feel that it could potentially break below this S1 and trend down, but vice versa. If the numbers come out, Sapphire launch, Gravity launch, there is a lot of good things to really justify this to go up. So take advantage of the volatility while it dips. That is where it's advantageous to sell puts and potentially buy calls, and vice versa during peaks. Potentially you could always sell covered calls and many other things. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And as I've been sharing, they did extend this promo up until October the 20th. Just sign up for an account with Moomoo, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching, and let's all make a ton of money on Lucid.